Hello yogis! Today we are going to be working on a really nice stretchy hip opening practice. So if you feel like you need to show your hips a little love, this is a really great practice to do. As usual, I'm going to use some props. I've got 2 blocks, a bolster, and a rolled up mat. If you don't have those things, it's totally fine. You can use a cushion or a pillow in place of the bolster. You could use a rolled up blanket or towel in place of a rolled up mat. And I can show you some variations to use in place of blocks. So I'd like to start out coming into a comfortable seated position. I'm on a cushion. You can also sit on a pillow or blocks. Go ahead and move any extra flesh out of the way, ground your sits bones into whatever you're sitting on. Get really comfortable sitting nice and tall with a straight spine, crown of the head drawing towards the ceiling. We're going to work on square breathing. So that means that you inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then hold for a count of 4 before inhaling again. So we'll take a few cycles of that. This is really beneficial in that it's a very calming and relaxing breath. It also helps you to focus and ground yourself into your practice. And it also helps opening up the lower spine as we're going to be breathing deep into our bellies. And that space in the spine will really help as we work on opening our hips during this practice today. So go ahead and bring one or both hands to your low belly. Inhale on a count of 4, allowing your eyes to close. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4, drawing the navel towards the spine. Hold for 4. Inhale 4. Hold for 4. Exhale 4. Hold for 4. Inhale 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale 4. Hold for 4. Exhale 4. Hold for 4. One more round. Inhale 4. Hold for 4. Exhale 4. Hold for 4. And release. This is a great breath to practice any time of the day. If you're at work and feeling a bit distracted, it's a breath that can help ground you back into where you are and help bring your focus back to what you're doing. It's a great breath to practice if you're feeling anxious or if you're trying to calm yourself down before bedtime. So really nice pranayama practice for any time of the day. Sorry, that was my kitchen. I don't know what that was. Let's go ahead and move any props out of the way. Roll over onto your knees, coming into a tabletop. Wrists and hands are directly below your shoulders, and knees are directly below your hips. And we're just going to take a couple cat-cows to warm up the low spine. So instead of working on opening the heart and shoulders today, I want you to bring your focus to your tailbone and your lower back. So on an inhale, lift the tailbone, arching the spine, look up. And on your exhale, pointing the tailbone down, rounding the spine, dropping the head, drawing the navel towards the spine. Inhale, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, pointing the tailbone towards the mat. Inhale, lifting, cow pose. Exhale, rounding, cat pose. Inhale, lifting the tailbone. Exhale, dropping the tailbone. And one more time. Inhale, arching the spine. And exhale, rounding the spine. Come back into a neutral spine. Shift your weight into your left knee. If you have a knee pain at all, you can bring a blanket under your knees, or you can roll over the edge of your mat and put it under the knee that is bearing the weight in the next part of our warm-up here. So shift your weight into your left knee, lift the right knee. We're going to try to keep our spine completely neutral. So we're not arching the spine at all. We're completely isolating the hip here. So let's go ahead and begin to make really gentle hip circles. Again, trying to isolate the hip joint. So none of the movement is coming from the spine. It's all coming from the hip. You might start out with really small circles at first to get used to the movement, and then maybe get a little bit bigger as you get more comfortable isolating that joint. You can begin to tie the movement to the breath. So on an inhale, you're bringing your knee out to the side, and on the exhale, bringing it back to center. Let's change and go the opposite direction. This is a really good exercise for hip mobility because it helps you build the strength and the stabilizing muscles around your hip joint, which really aids with both strength and flexibility. And let's bring the knee back to center. Maybe shake it out a little bit. And go ahead and shift the weight into the right knee. And we're going to just begin to open that left hip joint. Again, keeping the spine stable. Maybe starting with really small circles. And then getting bigger as you get used to this movement. We want to aim for really nice, smooth circles, but if this is the first time you've ever done this, or the 10th time you've done it, you might feel a little bit shaky. Go ahead and begin to tie the movement to your breath. Inhaling as you bring your knee out. Exhaling as you bring it to the center. And then let's switch directions. And bring your knee back to center, maybe shaking it out a little bit. All right, then we're just gonna warm up the hamstrings a little bit. So let's bring the feet to the outside edges of the mat, like we're coming into a yoga squat, but we're keeping our palms flat on the mat. And if you can't come really deep into your yoga squat, that's okay. You can be here, it's not a problem. On an inhale, begin to straighten your knees, lifting your hips. Exhale, coming down into your squat. Inhale, straighten the knees, lifting the hips. Exhale, dropping down, yoga squat. Inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, yoga squat. Trying to come a little bit deeper into the stretch, straightening the knees a little bit more each time. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, squatting back down. And 1 more. Inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, squatting back down. Walk your hands out and step your feet back into downward dog. Let's pedal out the feet here, stretching out the backs of the legs. Sweep the right toes up. Open the right knee, drawing the heel towards the seat, opening the hip. Exhale, bring your right foot between your hands. Gently lower the back knee. If this feels uncomfortable, roll over the edge of your mat to give your knee a little bit more cushion. Now, in this position, we're in a low lunge. We're opening up the left hip flexor, and we're also getting a stretch in the right hip. In this next movement, you can use blocks to give yourself a little bit of height and help extend your spine, keeping your shoulders back. Blocks are really great for low lunge. If you don't have blocks, it's okay. Just tent your fingertips to give yourself a little bit more height. Inhale here. Exhale, sit back into half split. You want to think about drawing your right hip crease back, rotating your left hip forward, and then gently drawing your belly towards your thigh without rounding your spine. Inhale, low lunge. Coming deep into the left hip flexor. Exhale, half split. So with blocks, you just get a little bit more height and a little bit more length in your spine. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Drawing the belly a little closer to the thigh. And inhaling back into low lunge. And let's move the blocks out of the way. Plant the hands on either side of the feet. Tuck the left toes. And press back into downward dog. Inhale, sweep your left toes up. Bend the knee, drawing the heel towards the seat, opening the left hip. And exhale, step the left foot between the hands. Gently lower the right knee. Lining up for your low lunge. Again, grabbing blocks if you have them or want to use them, or just tenting your fingertips if you don't have blocks. If you are working on developing your home yoga practice, I highly recommend investing in 2 blocks because it really helps with alignment and support to get yourself deeper into some of your poses. So let's exhale, sitting back into half split. Again, we want to think about drawing the left hip crease back, rotating the right hip forward, and then drawing the belly towards the left thigh. You'll notice one side is tighter than the other. That's totally normal and okay. Be gentle with your side that's a little bit tighter. I have overstretched my left hamstring and hurt myself before, and I don't want that to happen to any of you. So listen to your bodies, be gentle with yourselves. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. One more time. Exhale, half split. Drawing the belly a little closer to the thigh if you have the space. And inhaling back into your low lunge, moving your props out of the way. That's a really nice sequence to practice if you're working on your front splits. And it will really help with opening the hip flexor and the hamstring, both of which need to be nice and loose if you're going to get into any splits. Go ahead and plant your hands, tuck your right toes, step back into downward dog. Inhale, sweep the right toes up. Bend the knee, drawing the heel towards the seat, opening the hip, keeping your shoulders square towards the mat here. And exhale, right foot comes between your hands. And we're gonna keep our hands on the mat for this one. So tent your fingertips or grab blocks if you'd like to use blocks. Tent your fingertips, take an inhale here, and exhale, draw the feet towards each other on the mat. So your feet shouldn't move because hopefully your mat's sticky enough, but you're engaging all of the muscles in your, in both thighs, in the front of your left thigh and in the back of your right thigh. We're engaging all of those muscles for 3, 2, 1, and release. Walk your right foot or your left foot back just a little bit more, see if you can come a little deeper into your lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, draw the feet towards each other, engaging both thighs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. And maybe walk the left foot back just a little bit more. We're really deep into this lunge now, really opening up that left hip flexor. Take an inhale here. Exhale, draw the feet towards each other for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Awesome. Go ahead and bring the right foot or the right hand on the inside of the right foot and heel toe the right foot to the edge of the mat. We're going to take a lizard lunge with our left knee up. So it's a bit more of an active lizard lunge. See how much space you can find here. I like to kind of rock it out here to release any impingement in the left hip joint. And if you have the space, maybe walk your hands forward, coming down onto your elbows. If you don't have the space, you can always grab a block or some books and just come down as far as feels good here. Keeping that back leg engaged. Move any props out of the way if you're using them. Bring your palms back to the mat. Take an inhale here. And exhale, meeting in downward dog. Letting the blood flow back into that left hip. Inhale, sweep the left toes up. Exhale, opening the knee, draw the heel towards the seat. Shoulders are square towards the mat. Keep drawing your right heel towards the mat. And inhale here. Exhale, left foot comes between your hands. Tent the fingertips or place your hands on blocks. And inhale here. Exhale, draw the feet towards each other on the mat, engaging all of those muscles. 3, 2, 1, and release. Maybe scoot your right foot back just a little bit, coming a bit deeper. Inhale here. Exhale, draw the feet towards each other. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Scooting the right foot back just a little bit more. We're really deep in the lunge now. Inhale here. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot and heel toe the left foot to the outside edge of the mat. Let's maybe rock it out a little bit here, releasing any tension we're holding in that left hip joint. And if you're ready to come a little bit deeper, begin to walk your hands up in front of you, bringing your elbows to the mat. Or if that doesn't feel accessible, bringing your elbows toward a block. There's never anything wrong with using a prop in yoga. It is a really nice way to support yourself to get deeper into postures. It's not a crutch or something that says that you can't do as much as somebody else. And bring your palms back to the mat. Inhale here. And exhale, meeting in downward dog. Let's just stay here for a couple of breaths, maybe pedaling out the feet again. On an inhale, look between your hands. Step your feet to the top of the mat. Exhale, fold, drawing your belly towards your thighs, maybe taking a micro bend in the knees. Releasing the head, grabbing opposite elbows, maybe rocking side to side if it feels good. Release the hands. And on an inhale, let's roll all the way to standing. Rolling out the shoulders when we get to the top. Whew, my legs are tired. All right, let's step wide. We're going to do one more round of lunges. Promise it'll feel good. So let's step the feet out wide. Toes are pointing slightly out to the sides. And you can bring your hands to your hips or just grab your elbows either in front of you or behind you, whatever feels good here. I like grabbing my opposite elbows behind my back because I feel like it really opens my shoulders up. So inhale here. And exhale, let's drop to the right side, coming into a side lunge. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, dropping to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Now, if that feels pretty good and pretty easy, you can take it a little bit further by coming all the way down in your side lunge. So you'll take an inhale in the center and exhale, coming all the way down, turning the left toes up. The right heel should stay on the mat, but mine doesn't, so if it comes up, it's all right. And then using the strength of your legs, press your left toes into the mat and press back up to center. Now, if you need a little bit of help from your arms, that's okay, but try not to put too much weight into your arms. So inhale here, and exhale, come all the way down on the left side, turning the right toes up. Press both feet into the mat, inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale to the right side. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left side. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale to the left. This is the last one. And inhale back to center. All right, nice. So after all of these lovely, yummy hip openers, we should be really nice and open to come into a tree pose. So let's bring the feet about hip width distance apart. And we're going to pick up all 10 toes, spread the toes wide, and then bring them back down onto the mat. We're pressing into the mat with all 4 corners of the feet, gripping in with the toes. And just take a moment to really ground yourself here and get centered. When you're ready, shift your weight into your left foot and slowly off of your right foot. So we have 3 levels of tree pose here that you can take. If you have trouble balancing or you're just not very comfortable in your tree pose, that's okay. Come into a little kickstand with your toes on the mat and your heel just above your ankle. And this is just fine, you can stay here. Work on rotating the knee out. If you are comfortable here and you want to take it a little further, you can bring your foot onto your calf. Again, think about opening up the knee to open up the hip. You can stay here. If this feels really easy and you want to take it a little further, bring the sole of your foot to the inside of your left thigh, pressing your thigh and your foot towards each other. The one thing you don't want to do is have your foot on your knee. So that can destabilize the knee joint and actually cause injury. So either come here with your foot on your thigh or the level before with your foot on your calf. So from here, we can take any arm variation that feels good. There are quite a lot that you can do with tree. You can bring your arms up overhead, either in prayer or extending your branches out wide. You can bring your arms down to the sides, really opening up the heart space. You can clasp opposite elbows behind you or come into reverse prayer. So just find what feels good and stay there for a few breaths. Keep your focus on your drishti. Keep breathing. And gently release your foot, extending your leg out in front of you, and then bringing your right foot to the mat. You can roll out the standing ankle, stretching the foot. And then let's bring feet hip width distance apart for our next tree pose. Again, pick up the toes, spread them wide, gripping into the mat. Begin to shift your weight to your right foot. Lifting off with the left foot. Maybe coming into our low tree with a little kickstand. Rotating the knee out to open the left hip. Maybe bringing the foot to the calf. Again, never putting any pressure on the knee. Or, if we're feeling good, bringing the foot up to the thigh. Noticing how your balance is different from one side to the other. And deciding what arm variation you're going to take here. So extending your branches in whatever way feels good to you today. And gently releasing your foot, extending your left leg out in front of you, and then bringing your left foot to the mat. Let's roll out that standing ankle. And let's bring our feet about mat width distance apart, so they're a little wider than hip width distance. Bring your hands to heart center, tuck your tailbone slightly, and inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, bend your knees, coming down into Malasana or yoga squat. You want to ideally have your heels on the mat. If you can't get there, that's what the rolled up blanket or mat is for. So if you can't get all the way down with your heels on the mat, that's okay. Use a rolled up blanket or mat to support you here. And if you can get your heels on the mat, but you just feel super uncomfortable and like you just don't have any ease in this posture, another variation is to bring a block under your sits bones to give you some support as you continue to work on opening the hips here. So take whatever variation feels good to you. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths. Press the knees into the triceps and then press the arms into the knees to open the hips. So this is still a really active posture. We're really engaging all the muscles to increase our mobility. You might also find that it feels good to move a little bit here. Sometimes I like to sway side to side, maybe coming onto alternate tiptoes. So just do whatever feels good to find some ease in your Malasana or yoga squat. And go ahead and tent your fingertips. Extend your legs. We probably are a little bit more open now than we were at the beginning. And let's roll up to standing. We're going to come into a pigeon pose. For those of you who have practiced with me before, you know I love to take a supported pigeon using a bolster. You are not obligated to do so, but if you have a bolster or a cushion handy, let's go ahead and grab it. We'll meet at the top of the mat. Toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. And inhale, step back into downward dog. Exhale, drawing the heart towards the thighs. Inhale, sweep your right toes up. And exhale, bring your right knee to your right wrist. Lining up the bolster, so your right thigh is coming across the bolster. Your right calf is against the front of the bolster. Tent your fingertips here. Inhale, lengthen your spine, opening your heart space. Exhale, walking your hands forward, bringing your forehead to the mat or to the backs of your hands or to a block as you release into your pigeon pose. Inhale, walking your hands back up. You can stay here, keeping your spine nice and long. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can bend your left knee, reaching your left arm behind you, and bringing your heel in towards your seat. You can also come into a small twist, bringing your gaze over your left shoulder. You want to keep this pose active, so your foot is pressing into your hand as your hand is trying to guide your heel towards your seat. One more inhale here. And exhale, release. Inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, tuck your left toes, press back into downward dog. Turn your bolster if you're using one so that it's lined up behind your left wrist. Inhale, sweep your left toes up. Exhale, left knee to left wrist. Left thigh is coming across the bolster. Left calf is against the front of the bolster. Tent the fingertips. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, walking the hands forward, bringing the forehead to the backs of the hands, a block for the mat. On an inhale, begin rocking the hands back in towards the body. Again, you can stay here, tenting your fingertips, opening your heart. Or you can take it a little bit deeper by bending the right knee, grabbing the right foot with the right hand, and guiding your knee, guiding your heel in towards your seat. Keeping this active by pressing your foot into your hand and coming into a gentle twist, bringing your gaze over your right shoulder. Keeping this pose active rather than passive continues to build those stabilizing muscles in the hip. Rather than just stretching, we're both stretching and strengthening at the same time, which is a great way to build flexibility in a way that is safe for your body. One more inhale here. And exhale, release. Inhale, pressing the hands into the mat, lengthening the spine. Exhale, tuck your right toes and step back into downward dog. Let's bring the knees to the mat, moving the bolster out of the way. Coming into a child's pose with your knees out to the sides. So this is a great variation of child's pose to open the hips, as opposed to knees together, which opens the lower back. Go ahead and walk your hands out overhead and bring your forehead to the mat, and we'll take a few breaths here. Inhale, walking your hands back in, and we're going to meet back in seated. Let's open our legs out wide, coming into open angle pose. I like to start open angle pose with my hands behind me. This keeps the spine straight and helps open the heart space. If this feels really challenging, you can stay right here. If this feels really easy, then you can go ahead and bring your fingertips in front of you. Again, trying to keep the spine long and hinging from the hips just the way you would in a forward fold. Inhale, lengthening the spine here. And exhale, beginning to walk the hands forward, gently coming into a fold. You might be able to come quite a lot deeper than me here. That's fine. Come as deep as you can. Every body is different, so just respect where your body is in the process and where your body is today as opposed to yesterday or tomorrow. Because every day is a bit different as well. A nice variation of this posture is if you're having trouble keeping your spine long, bring a rolled up blanket underneath your sitting bones. You can also take a slightly more restorative version of this by bringing the bolster across your thighs and allowing yourself to kind of round over the bolster. So find what feels good here. Inhale, walking your hands back up. Move any props out of the way that you're using. And let's bring those legs together. Maybe give them a little bit of a shake. And we're going to make our way to lie down on our backs. Come to lie flat on your back, drawing your knees in towards your chest, rocking it out, massaging the lower spine. We're in Apanasana. Sending some positive thoughts to your hips and thighs for all of their hard work today. And open your knees, grabbing the outside edges of your feet, coming into Happy Baby. I really like to rock in Happy Baby. I feel like it really gets into some of those tight muscles in my lower back. You can also think about straightening your knees or straightening one knee at a time. Play around in this posture and find what feels good. If you've always had a lot of trouble with Happy Baby and you've never really felt very comfortable in it, you can also just come into Apanasana and then guide your knees open. So this creates kind of a similar feeling and a similar level of openness without maybe coming quite as deep as Happy Baby. Let's take one more nice deep inhale here. And exhale, extending the legs long, coming into Shavasana. If you'd like to take a Shavasana with a little bit of support and you have a bolster handy, it can be really nice to bring the bolster under your knees, soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides, or you can just extend your legs long. Wherever you are, go ahead and bring your hands to your belly. Let's take 3 really big, deep breaths into the low belly to stretch out the lower back. Take a deep inhale, pressing the belly towards the ceiling. Deep exhale, drawing the navel towards the spine. Deep inhale. Full exhale. One more deep inhale. And full exhale. When you're ready to come out of your Shavasana, go ahead and extend the arms overhead, extending the legs, coming into a full body stretch, and then rolling gently onto one side. Taking a few breaths here. And then using your hands to press yourself up to seated. Thank you all so much for sharing your practice with me today. I look forward to seeing you on the mat again soon. Namaste.